Hi guys, I'm Jessica Bryson. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about natural birth control. Natural birth control is based upon the Fertility Awareness Method. And just like it sounds, Fertility Awareness Method, natural birth control helps a woman to identify when she is fertile. So, just like fertility awareness, it makes you aware of when you are fertile. Now, a couple wanting to conceive a child who may have difficulty conceiving may use the fertility awareness method to try to have a baby. I, however, am not trying to have a baby at the moment, and so I use the fertility awareness method to prevent pregnancy. Ladies, every single month, your body is trying to set you up. Your body wants to get pregnant every single month. And whether you realize it or not, your body is sending you signals to let you know, hey, the environment is conducive to conceive a child. Now, in order to do the fertility awareness method, you need mainly 3 tools. The first tool is this book, Taking Charge of Your Fertility. Okay, the definitive guide to natural birth control, pregnancy achievement, and reproductive health by Toni Weisler, who has her master's in public health. You need this book because this book is going to tell you everything you need to know about your reproductive organs, how they work, how sex is supposed to work to achieve a pregnancy, or how you can use some of the same knowledge to prevent a pregnancy. So you need this book. I'm linking it below so that you can get it from Amazon. This is where I got my book. The second thing that you need is a thermometer. Okay, this is my thermometer that I use every single day. Okay, once I explain a little bit more about how this method works, you'll understand why you need a thermometer. And lastly, you just need a way to track your temperatures. You can do that on a plain piece of paper, or I choose to use a fertility awareness method app, and I'll share that with you later on. Chapter 9 of this book, Taking Charge of Your Fertility, goes in depth on natural birth control, and I just want to read you a snippet. Much of this is simply learning to understand how your body works. A way to conceptualize the length of a woman's fertility is to remember that it is totally dependent upon the man's fertility. In a vacuum, a woman would be fertile only a maximum of 24 hours or 48 hours if 2 or more eggs were released at ovulation. But think of fertility in terms of a range that combines the viability of both sperm and egg. The only reason a woman is fertile for longer than 24 to 48 hours is because sperm can live up to 5 days. In essence, then, the first part of a woman's fertile phase is determined by the survival of the sperm. The second part by the viability of the egg. When the fertility awareness method is used for birth control, this typically adds up to about 9 to 10 days, during which abstinence or a barrier method of contraceptive is called for. This fertile phase includes a significant safety margin on both sides of a woman's fertile phase. So, the fertility awareness method is simply this. Once you've identified your fertile window, you abstain from having sex, or you use some sort of barrier method. The 3 primary fertility signs are your waking temperature or basal body temperature, your cervical mucus, and your cervix position. The book goes into more detail on all 3, but I only use 2 of those. Your basal body temperature is your resting temperature. This is the temperature at which your body is at when you are in a resting state. So at 6 a.m. every single day, my thermometer has an alarm that goes off. I fumble for it on my nightstand, I put the thermometer in my mouth, and I take my temperature. Now what that does is, at the same time, every single day, I take my temperature. And my temperature reading lets me know what my body temperature is at that particular moment. Then later on, I have an app that I track my temperatures on, but if you just wanted to use paper and pencil, what you would do is you would kind of chart out, as you see in this book. Let's see if we can focus here. You'll chart out, as you see in this book, your temperatures. The first day of your cycle is the first day of your period. So you want to count day 1 of your period is day 1 of your monthly cycle. Okay, so day 1 of this person's cycle, they're charting that their temperatures are pretty low, pretty low, pretty low. And then once this person ovulates, you see that the temperatures on average start to go up. So you see that this person's temperatures are rising until again they have their period and the temperature drops again. So that's what I'm doing every single day when I take my temperature. So when you do the fertility awareness method, you need a thermometer to take your temperature. It's important to take your temperature at the same time every single day. This is before you get out of bed. Don't take your temperature once you've gone and done a run, because your body's at a different temperature than when it was when it was sleeping. So you want your waking temperature when you've just kind of woken out of your sleep, taking your temperature. I haven't even gotten out the bed at this point. And I take it and then I put it back on the nightstand when I'm done, and I sleep a little bit more before I get up for the day. So that's how I take my temperature. This thermometer in particular is used for the Fertility Awareness Method. And so it tracks itself, where I am in my cycle. It records my temperature. So as you kind of saw it written out in the book, it also tells me here if my temperatures are low or high, or where they are. But I also use an app to track my temperature. What you'll notice once you start tracking your temperatures at the same time every single day before you get out of bed is that before you ovulate or before you release an egg, your temperatures are pretty low. For me, that's around 97.6 is where my temperature kind of bounces up and down around before I ovulate. After I ovulate, my temperatures go up to 97.8 and above, and it kind of hops around there. Now, why is that? Before ovulation, your body's producing a lot of estrogen, which is keeping your temperatures lower. Once you ovulate, your body starts releasing something called progesterone, or progesterone, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And so what that does is it causes your body to warm up. And it's your body preparing for gestation or progestation, right? For you to be able to kind of take care of your body, is preparing yourself to take care of a baby. If you've heard a woman say, I have a baby in the oven, right? Literally, her body's becoming an oven because her temperatures are raised. And one of the cool things about doing the Fertility Awareness Method is that your body temperatures will stay raised for about 12 to 16 days before they drop again and you start your next period. Now, if your temperatures do not drop, that's an early sign that you could be pregnant. So you'll know sooner than most pregnancy tests whether you're pregnant or not, simply because you're tracking your temperatures and if I'm staying above a certain level and my temperatures aren't dropping down, then I know that I probably have a baby in the oven. Now, you're going to be checking your temperature pretty much every single day of your cycle, as long as you do this method. But really what checking your temperature is all about, it's really more so for the second half of your fertility phase. This phase is really letting you know when you've released an egg. Once you've released an egg, you want to wait 2 to 3 days before you engage in sex, or engage in sex without some sort of barrier method. And the reason being is the egg can survive up to 24 to 48 hours, and we throw in a third day just so you're safe, just to make sure that on both ends of the spectrum that you're not running the risk of becoming pregnant if you're using this method for natural birth control purposes. So once again, although you're going to be taking your temperature every day, really taking your temperature is about knowing when you've ovulated, because again, once you've ovulated, your temperatures will spike. Once you've gotten that first spike of temperature, you watch it for 2 to 3 days, and then after the 2 to 3 days, you're okay to have sex without using a barrier method, and you're okay to have sex without worrying about having to abstain because you're fertile, because you've passed that fertile period. The second fertility sign that the book talks about has to do with your cervical mucus. Now, observing your cervical mucus has more to do with the front half of your fertility window. So again, you're fertile for up to 9 to 10 days. And the temperature, checking your temperature has to do with the latter part of that 9 to 10 days. Checking your cervical mucus has to do with the former part of that 9 to 10 days. So again, in order to get pregnant, you have to have sperm, you have to have egg, you have to have a conduit. What is that conduit? Your cervical mucus. I'm telling you, ladies, your body's trying to get you. Okay? So the conduit is your cervical mucus. And what that is you'll notice that throughout the month, your body has a different texture of discharge. So at first, the first few days of the month, you might have, or your cycle, whenever your cycle, starts, you'll notice that your cervical mucus may be tacky, almost like Elmer's glue. Okay, now that's not very hospitable for sperm, i.e. sperm can't really easily swim through that. So it's not really very hospitable for sperm, and because of that, it's not really a really good sign that you are fertile. Okay, so you're probably not fertile. Okay. Then it transforms into kind of a lotion-like consistency. Now we're starting to get a little more wet to where sperm can flow through. Again, not as hospitable as semen for sperm to swim through, but it's becoming more and more hospitable. Then it becomes watery or egg white. That's really hospitable. The sperm is just chilling. Their feet are up on the couch. They swimming around. They're having a good time, okay? So when your cervical mucus becomes egg white or watery, you are fertile. And the reason why your body is producing that, it's pretty much semen quality fluid, is so that it can preserve the sperm in your body for up to 5 days. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you ovulate on a Friday. You release an egg on a Friday. But you are producing this semen quality fluid, cervical mucus, on Monday, and you have sex. Well, and sperm gets inside of you, okay? Now this sperm is able to chill out in your cervical mucus from Monday all the way till Friday. And once you ovulate on Friday, it's able to penetrate that egg and create a baby. That is how you can have sex on Monday and get pregnant on Friday, okay? It's because your body starts to produce a semen quality fluid to house this sperm until you ovulate. I told y'all, your body trying to get you trapped. I tried to tell you. I'm telling you, ladies, your body's trying to get you every month. She's trying to get you, okay? You got to know the signs. You got to identify the signs. You got to see the signs. I'm trying to teach you the signs, okay? This is how you see the signs. I'm telling you, okay? So going back to the two methods that I use, for that 9 to 10 days where I will either abstain from sex or use a barrier method, the first part of that, I'm taking my temperature throughout that time, but the first part of that, I'm really paying attention to my cervical mucus. Once it gets that egg white consistency, watery, that semen quality, she's trying to get me, she's trying to catch me up, okay? Can't do that, okay? Then after that, once I notice a spike in my temperature, I know that I've ovulated. I'm waiting 2 to 3 days before again having sex without a condom and or abstaining from sex, okay? Now, you can easily track your temperatures on a piece of paper, and this is how they show it in the book, and I'm just gonna show you closely so you can see here. Along the lines, you'll see 97, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all goes up to 9, and then it hits 98, and then again all up to 96 degrees, okay? So on day 1 of your cycle, you take your temperature with your thermometer, and say you're at, and this person's at 97.5. They're circling, here goes 97, and then they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and circle the 5, okay? And then next day, they do the same thing. Oh, I'm 97.2, they circle the 2. Following day, oh, I'm 97.2 again. So you're circling here, and you notice all along here is low temperatures, low, 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 okay? So then she takes her temperature, and she realizes, oh, I'm 97.9, okay? So the temperature spike up here. And then after that, she noticed she's 98 degrees, right? She has 98, her temperature is 98. Her temperature is 98.3, her temperature is 98.1, 98.3, 98.4. And again, you continue to make these circles. And if you just pay attention to the circles, it can seem pretty confusing, but just take a step back and see the trend, right? You see that she stays under 97.7 before ovulating, and then she's above 97.7 after ovulating, okay? So that's the point of checking your temperature. So once she hits over 97.7, which is this mark where you see it's going up, she's gonna count 3 days. So this day, she can't have unprotected sex, or she abstains from sex. This day, the second day that she has a high temperature, she can't have unprotected sex, or she abstains from sex. And then the third day, sorry, ladies, you're above 97.7, okay? So you cannot have sex, or you use some sort of barrier method again, okay? Now, during the front part of this, like I explained with the cervical mucus, the lower temperatures is where you're gonna notice all the cervical mucus taking place, that clear white, egg white consistency. And you typically only have that, I don't like to call it a discharge, because discharge has such a negative connotation, but you'll notice probably up to about 5 days before releasing an egg, that's when you'll notice that cervical mucus. So the first days 1 through 5, you notice where the stars are, that's her period. So she's having her cycle for up to the 5 days. After that, she may not see any action down there as far as a mucus standpoint. But then after a few days, she'll start to notice that Elmer's glue tacky discharge. Then she'll notice some lotion-like discharge, and then it might become egg white closer to up to 5 days before you ovulate. It becomes egg white and watery, and then you ovulate and the temperatures spike up. So before the ovulation period, you're tracking that cervical mucus. After the ovulation period, you're tracking your temperature. Every day I track my temperatures and my cervical mucus via this app called Fertility Friend. And so in the app, this is a sample day. On September 26th, I took my temperature at 6 a.m. every single day. You have to be consistent at the same time before you get out of bed. Take your temperature. My temperature was 98.02, which is above 97.7, which means I had already ovulated. You can see that my cervical mucus was sticky, again, letting me know I'm not fertile. I'm in the clear here. And you can also enter whether you're on your period, whether you've had sex, and a lot of different information here. Now, the buttons below, this button is just me entering in my actual information, but you can go to the calendar. And let's go to August. So the shaded in pink boxes is when I was on my period. The shaded in green boxes is when I was fertile. So based on my temperature readings and the cervical mucus information that I was putting in the app shaded in when I was fertile and when I was on my cycle. This is for August. So if you look at September, you'll see that the 30th has a hollowed out pink box. This app is predicting that on the 30th, I would start my period, and I actually did. I just haven't told the app that yet. But that's what this app does. Over time, the more information that you give it, it tries to predict when you will start your period. And if I go into October, you'll see the hollowed out green boxes are predicting when I will be fertile. And so as I give it more and more information, the app will correct itself and update to let you know when you will be most fertile. So just like we showed in the book, the app actually takes all that information and charts it. So all of the dots here are just temperature readings. All the dots are temperature readings. So the pink boxes below are the days I was on my period, and you notice that the temperatures are low here. Low, low, low. The green boxes is when I started experiencing that egg white consistency, cervical mucus, etc. Spike in temperature, I've ovulated, okay? So now the temperatures are higher here. Let's do another cycle. Go to the next one. Okay, so here's another one, okay? Again, the pink boxes below, you see, this is when I was on my period. The temperatures are low, low, low here. Green boxes is when I started experiencing that egg white consistency, watery cervical mucus. Then my temperature spiked because I ovulated. Because again, right here, the green boxes, my body was like, okay, we know you're about to ovulate. So we're going to create semen-like quality fluid to hold sperm in case you have sex until you ovulate. Once I've ovulated, my temperatures were going up here. Now, I've been doing this method for just over a year, and I absolutely love it. I knew that I never wanted to take hormonal birth control. I've never taken hormonal birth control. I've only done natural birth control because it just didn't seem right to me that I'm tricking my body to not ovulate. That just didn't sit well with me. So I knew that I wanted a natural way of preventing pregnancy until my husband and I made the choice to conceive. This method is pretty economical. I mean, really, all I needed was a book, a thermometer, and my app that has an annual membership cost of between $26 to $48 a year. It's better for my body because I'm not tricking my body with hormones. I mean, come on, you can do a quick Google search to see some of the consequences of taking hormonal birth control. And I know there are lots of people out there who have taken hormonal birth control and they're completely fine, and no one's saying that you're going to grow a third head. I'm just saying that I just don't want to play with fire, and I'd rather just use something that goes more naturally with my body. And lastly, I just love getting to know myself and know my body, know what's happening to it, know what it needs. And I think that's a part of self-care and self-love. Once again, I'm Jessica Bryson. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I hope to see you back for the next video. Take care.